Hello friends, welcome to the Youth Perspective. In this video, we will discuss the origin of God's law. So please, stay tuned. In the Bible, God has its own government. In fact, if we read it in Psalms 103 verse 19, it is a recognized fact that intelligible human beings cannot live together in peace without a law acceptable to all. Upon what principle of laws of God government base? My friends, the answer is found on Psalms 89 verse 14. Let's read it together. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. Love and faithfulness go before you. Now we know the principle of God's law. So how does Apostle Paul describe God's law? 7:12 of Romans says, "So then the law is holy, and the commandment is holy, righteous and good." And we know already that Apostle Paul wrote a lot of books, such as Corinthians, Ephesians, Romans, and so on and so forth. So when Apostle Paul describes the law, we realize that the law was so important. It is holy, it is good, and much of all, it is the characteristics of our God. Now the question is, who gave the law to man? If we look at in Exodus 20 verse 1, God says there that God spake all these words. Then follow the Ten Commandments in Exodus 20 verse 3 to 17. Let's read it together with your Bible. And God spoke all these words. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol in the form of anything in heaven, above or on the earth, beneath or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, I am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the fathers to the third and the fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither your nor son or your daughter, nor your manservant or maidservant, nor your animals, nor the alien within your gates. For in the 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. But he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Honor your father and mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his manservant or maidservant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Now we see that God himself gave the Ten Commandments to all of us, not just the Jewish people, but universal, throughout the world, through all human beings. The law was for us. So where did God write his laws? The answer is found in Deuteronomy 4 verse 12 to 13. Let's read it. Then the Lord spoke to you out of the fire. You heard the sound of words, but saw no form. There was only a voice. He declared to you his covenant, the Ten Commandments, which he commanded you to follow, and then wrote them on 2 tables of stone. Now we found it. The law of God was written in stone. How important it is. How wonderful it is. How beautiful it is. Next question. Was God's law known by Adam? Speaking of Israel, the Hosea prophet says, like Adam, they have broken the covenant. They were unfaithful to me there. So in the verse says, like Adam, they transgressed the covenant. Since Paul mentioned in Romans 7 verse 7, he would not have known the sin but by the law. The same principle holds true by Adam. there would be no sin in Adam's part without the acknowledge of law. Through law, we become conscious of sin in Romans 3 verse 20. What other evidence that God's law is already existed before the Mount of Sinai? In Romans 5 verse 19 says, through the disobedience of the one man, the many were made sinners. There could have been no disobedience in Eden by Adam without a revelation of God's law. In fact, according to 1 John 3 verse 4, sin is the breaking of God's law, or sin is by disobeying of God's law. Since it is true, as Paul says, that man came dead, and in Adam all died. In 1 Corinthians 15 verse 21 to 22, God's law was in existence in the Garden of Eden. How then was man aware of God's law? Romans 2 verse 15 says, let's read it. Since they show the requirements of the law are written in their hearts, their consciences also bearing witness, and their thoughts now accusing, now even defending them. In creation, God wrote the law in man's heart. And for that reason, it is also referred to as the law of nature in Romans 2 verse 40. Who broke God's law before Adam? Book of John 3 verse 8 says, he who does what is sinful is of the devil, because the devil has been sinning from the beginning. Also, in 2 Peter 2 verse 4 speaks of the angels that have sinned. God created no one in sin. All God's creation was sinless. However, they were obeying by the power of choice. Prophet Ezekiel speaks of Satan using the figure of King of Tyrus. Ezekiel 28 verse 15 says, you were blameless in your ways from the day you were created till wickedness was found in you. Jesus Christ said of the devil in John 8 verse 44 that he is the father of lies. He is not holding to the truth. So before disobedience, there was obedience. Then God's law was known. And that is the origin of God's law.